Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? What's up, Pastor Charlie? It's Antoinette, Brother Chris, it's Leah. Come on. What's up, Nikki, Antoinette, Brother Mike, Miss Pauline, Miss Jen, Miss Andrea. Hit that share button as you come in, if you would. Hit share, hit share, hit share. Thank you. Give us that thumbs up if you're on YouTube. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. I do. Um, Real quick, man, before we dive in, I want to tell you that we're doing something different today. Something really different today. We are actually going to be doing a pop-up service. Um, we're doing a pop-up service at our Columbia Street campus at 1:30. It's going to be a quick word and quick worship. Um, it passes. How come I didn't know about it? Because it's a pop-up service. Nobody knew about it. Leadership St. Tammany West is going to be in the building. Um, and yeah, so if you're taking your lunch around that time, if you're in the area, if you're retired, stop by the Columbia Street campus at 1:30 for a quick pop-up service, man. Good way to get your midweek refuel. Come on, somebody. And then, of course, at 6:30, we are going to be at our Tangi campus over in Hammond. So 1:30 at Columbia Street today, and then um, 6:30 at our Tangi campus. You can get there early at Tangi in Hammond, and we'll have some food for you and the kids so you can bring them along. Pastor, we're going to be doing this midday every week on Wednesday? Nope, we are not. It's a pop up, and who knows what it might turn into. But for right now, we're doing a pop up service. I'm inviting everybody who's available to come. Again, that's at 1:30 at our Columbia Street campus. And then we'll be over in Hammond with our Tangi folks at 6:30. If I'm talking low, it's because I have to. I got to do Jumpstart and I got to preach 2 more times today, and so my voice has been crazy. I don't know what's happening, but the last couple of days, I do know what's happening, but that's the reason why I'm talking low. So give us that thumbs up if you would. Hit that share button, and yeah, let's dive in. I don't intend to stay long, and I'm gonna try to keep my voice as low as possible, because if I elevate it, it gets scratchy and all that good stuff. So listen in, turn your volume up, and let's roll. We've been talking about finishing strong, man. How to finish strong. And the reason why we're talking about this is because I want us to go into next year uh, with motivation, with acceleration, with momentum. And I know that the key to going into next year with momentum is starting right now, not waiting for New Year's resolutions and all of that other stuff, but getting started, whatever. And why wait for the new year? New Year's just a date, right? Let's finish this year strong. Let's be able to say, you know what? I didn't accomplish everything I set out to accomplish, but I can point to one thing or two things that I got done. We got one more quarter starting now. We're actually in the last quarter, and I want us to finish strong. I want us to finish strong as a church. I want us to finish strong as a people, and I want you to finish strong as a person, you and your family. And many of us, we start strong, but we quit in the middle. We quit in the middle. That's the reason why we're having this conversation. You know, you've done it before. All of us have. You have that one room in your house that you need to get cleaned. You know, where you store all of your stuff. Come on, somebody. Some of us it's the garage. Others of us we don't have a garage, but we got the clutter room. Huh? We got the junk room. That's not what you call it, but that's what it is. We got that closet. And we start cleaning it, and then halfway through we like this is worse than I thought it was when I started. Huh? Walk away from weeks later, that broom is still leaning in the corner. You can't find the broom. Where's it at? It's in the clutter room. How many of us have started a diet? Huh? You meal prepped for a whole week and made it through 2 days. Meal preps are still sitting in your refrigerator. You probably throw that chicken and broccoli never made it to the table. We quit, man. We quit in the middle. Listen, why do we quit in the middle? Because starting is exciting, right? Starting is exciting. Finishing is inspiring. Yeah, that junk drawer. Don't even talk about that junk drawer, Nikki. Finishing is inspiring. Starting is exciting, right? But in the middle, the middle, that's where we quit. That's why the Bible tells us in Galatians 6 and 9, let's not become weary in doing good. What where do we get weary at? In the middle. Listen, but the harvest doesn't come to those who start, it comes to those who finish. And the only way that we're ever going to finish anything is when if we don't quit. You listen, you got to stop quitting when everybody stops clapping. You have to people will cheer at the finish line, but nobody's cheering in the middle. Nobody's watching in the middle. In the middle of it, that's where you ask yourself, is this even worth it? Think about it. Most students drop their classes in the middle of the semester. Huh? Leaders lose their passion in the middle of the project. Listen, the middle of whatever you're trying to do is always the graveyard of your good intentions. I'm gonna say it again. The middle of whatever you're trying to do is always the graveyard of your good intentions. You don't lose the race at the start or at the end. You lose the race in the middle. Why is that, Pastor? Because the middle is going to test why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you exercising? That's why you start asking yourself those questions. Why are you doing this? And sometimes we forget why we're doing what we're doing. And here's the other thing too. Sometimes the our why is not motivating enough. See, we're always coached and always told to set goals. And that's great if that's what motivates you. But you know what I realized? I'm the type of person who setting goals is good. You know, the promise, the finish line. excuse me. Excuse me. The promise, the finish line, that's good. But you know what motivates me more many times than the promise, than the finish line, than the reward? Sometimes what you're running from is a lot more motivating than what you're running to. And sometimes the way you keep going when you get to the part where you don't want where you're tempted to quit is not by remembering what you're running to, but sometimes you got to keep in mind what you're running from, because the enemy does a great job of making us forget about what we're running from. When sometimes you can't see the promise, but you can remember the prison. Some see when I hadn't tasted of the promise, when I hadn't seen it, when I hadn't put my hands on the promise, when I don't have any experience with the promise, the promise that's up ahead can be a great idea, but when I have no experience with it, when I hadn't tasted it, hadn't touched it, it's like we tell people about kids in college. Kids need exposure. They need opportunity, but they also need exposure to the opportunity. It's like when you tell a kid who's never been to college, yeah, college is going to be great. And you can paint a picture for them as much as you want to. But the reason why we do a college tour every year is because we want those kids to put their feet on the soil. We want those kids to walk through the halls of those educational institutions. We want them to see people who are like them, so that when they picture it, they can picture themselves actually there. And the problem for many of our goals, not that it's negative or bad, but the problem is we've never been there, and so we can't picture it. It's hard to stay motivated towards an amazing marriage if you don't know what amazing marriage feels like. It's hard to stay motivated towards anything that you don't know what it feels like. Sometimes you can, like you can, but some people are built different. And if they don't know what it feels like, then it's hard to stay motivated. Watch this. You may not know what the promise feels like, but you know what it feels like to be in the prison. You may not know exactly what your future looks like, but you know what your past looks like. You may not know all of where God is taking you, but you know exactly where God found you. Come on, somebody. Maybe you don't have a blueprint of your destiny, but I tell you what you do have. You got the scars of your past. And some of us are built in such a way that it's not the blueprint of destiny that's going to keep us going. It's not running towards the future that's going to keep us going. It's running from the past. Y'all with me this morning? You come on, and sometimes that's enough to get you through the middle. Sometimes you may not remember what it's like up there, but you remember when you were addicted. You maybe what's up there isn't motivating enough to break those habits, to set those boundaries, to stick to those goals. But you remember those nights that you can't remember, those mornings you regret. You remember what it's like to be in the pit. Come on, somebody. You remember that toxic relationship, that manipulation, that abuse, that betrayal. You remember that financial chaos. Come on. You that'll motivate you to keep a budget. Huh? You got $2 to last 2 weeks. Don't act like y'all ain't been there. You got $2 to last 2 weeks, and you got two kids, and you need 2 tanks of gas. Don't make me laugh. I'm hurt. Come on. Maybe you can't remember. You don't know what it's like up there. But what ought to motivate you is what it was like back there. Huh? You remember what it's like to be in dysfunction. Huh? Sometimes the memory, I'm just saying, like sometimes I have to recall the memory of my Egypt in order to keep running towards my Canaan. The children of Israel, they had never been to the promised land. So yes, while they were walking towards the promised land and that kept them going, they also had a healthy memory of what it felt like in Egypt. And I'm saying like what should motivate us sometimes, if you can't be motivated by where you're going, sometimes you got to motivate yourself with by refusing to turn to where you've been. I may not be able to see the whole promise, but I felt every inch of the pig pen. I may not be able to see the whole promise, but I felt every square inch of the prison. And sometimes in order to keep going, in order to motivate you, I'm just saying, can we just be real? Sometimes what's up ahead is, if what's up ahead was enough to keep us going, then we wouldn't quit. But sometimes you can't recall, you can't motivate yourself by what's up ahead. You got to take a look back at what you're running from. Am I helping anybody this morning? The picture of my future is fuzzy sometimes, but I got to tell you, the picture of my past is crystal clear. Me and Joyce, we've hit some difficult times, and like any marriage, in 22 years. But I got to tell you, I got a healthy memory of what it was like before Joyce. Come on, somebody. I remember that. I, I, we forget what it was like. I remember, y'all can glorify the single life all y'all want to. I done had 21 years of home cooked meals. What that song say? I won't go back. Come on, somebody. I listen. Come on. I had 22. I had 22 years of a clean and organized house with real furniture, not mismatched. I done had 22 years of stuff hanging on the walls. Shelves got pictures. Uh, come on, you sometimes it's not what you're running to that'll keep you motivated. It's what you're running from. Huh? I listen. I remember, shoot, I had, if it was a home cooked meal, I had a couple of meals I could cook. Hot dogs, frozen pizza, and grits and eggs. That was it. Hot dogs, frozen pizza, and grits and eggs. That's as home cooked as it got. Now I done had 22 years of smothered pork chops, greens, cornbread, candy yams, gumbo. Come on, somebody. Oh no, girl, we got to work this out. we, we got to we got to work this out. We got to work this out. Yeah, sweet potato pie. Uh-uh. We working this out. I remember. And for some of us, what you're going to, I'm sorry, what you're going to, I got to speak lower, what you're going to may not be motivating enough. So you got to remember what you're running from. You got to remember what you're running from. Here's another thing you got to remember in order not quit in the middle. You got to remember that it's the middle that builds the muscle. It's the middle that builds the muscle. Anybody can start. Anybody can celebrate the finish. It's not though. It's not. It's not. Anybody can start. But it's the middle with that pain in the middle when nobody's watching, when everybody's silent, when everybody stopped cheering. That's when you really are building. Doesn't seem like it, doesn't feel like it, but and that's part of the problem too, right? Like the vision always looks easier than reality. Marriage looks easy when all you see is the wedding day. Parenting looks easy when all you see is the baby shower and the cute cuddly moments. Following Jesus looks easy when all you see is the blessings. But once you get in the middle, you know what you realize sometimes? It's harder than I thought it was. You got things popping up that you didn't expect to pop up. You thought that you were going to have to put in this amount of effort and then you would see a reward, but it requires more effort, and the effort only creates more effort. You start walking, and what you didn't count on is that once you start walking, your feet were going to hurt. And now you got to invest in some more shoes, and now you got the shoes, and now while you're walking, you didn't realize that your knee was going to hurt, and every time you go walk, your knee hurting. Come on, you're out of breath. I think that's what's wrong with a lot of our young people. Somewhere along the way, they picked up the lie that the middle is supposed to be easy. That if it's hard, it must be wrong. That if it takes too much effort, then it must not be God. Listen, nothing that's worth having ever comes easy. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. Faith doesn't mature without trials. Ease does not build endurance, struggle does. The hard stuff is where God does his deepest work. Listen, it's the hard stuff in your marriage that builds a strong marriage. It's the difficulty in your finances that makes you financially wise. It's the hard stuff in your matriculation through education, those long nights of studying. That's where you really learn. Come on, somebody. Your craft, that's where you really learn. That's where you get your education. When you're going over it and over it and over it. Why? Because that's where you're committing it to memory, working through it, really understanding what it is that you're trying to be educated about. So many of us, we quit everything we start. Why, Pastor? When the hype goes away, we quit. When what we're doing isn't real worthy, we quit. When we're not getting there fast enough, we quit. But here's the deal: you're not stuck. We don't get stuck because it takes too long. We get stuck because we're not staying long enough. How about this? The harvest isn't late. You just left too early. You have to learn how to stay when you get to the middle. Because the middle is where the roots get strong. The middle is where the faith is proven. And just because there's slow progress doesn't mean there's no progress. You the seed is working even when you can't see it. And if you just stick around, just keep watering, just keep showing up. Bible says in due season, if you don't quit, you can't quit. And we hear plant a seed, 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 plant a seed. But listen. There's a whole lot more to the harvest than just planting the seed. Harvest doesn't come just because you drop something in the ground. We've been sold a lie, y'all. There's work that has to be done after the seed is planted. You've got to water it. Come on. You got to keep grass and weeds and insects from ruining it. Come on. And the difficult part about that is you don't see the harvest right away. But just because you don't see it, that doesn't mean it's not working. While you can't see it, the roots are growing deeper. The strength is being built underground so that it'll sustain the fruit when it gets above ground. But the point is, you don't get harvest without hard work. Good seed works in silence before it ever shows up in sight. And while that seed is working in silence, you have to work in faith. Knowing that just as surely as you planted it, and just as surely as you work at it, and just as surely as you stay with it, at some point that plant's coming up out of the ground. And just as surely as you stay with it, and as sure as you keep working at it, as sure as you keep tending to it, at some point that plant's going to produce some fruit. But you will always miss the harvest if you walk away from the field too soon. Some of us, we even this year, we walked away from our goals, not because we didn't want the goal, but because we didn't realize what it was going to take to get there. We we want amazing relationships, but we don't realize that relationships are work every single day. Parenting, sleepless nights, and sacrifice. Being financially free means saying no to myself over and over and over and over again. Following Jesus means carrying a cross. And a lot of times what happens is because there's a price tag, we assume that it's punishment. Because there's a process, we assume there's that we're out of line with purpose. But you have to remember, it's worth the work. It's worth the tears. If even if I can't see what I'm running to is worth it, you call back to mind what you're running from. Come on, call back to mind what you're running from. Are y'all with me? Because when you cross that finish line, you realize that every sacrifice you made was seed. Every difficulty was seed. Huh? Focus on what's at stake. What is it going to cost you to quit? What is it going to cost me if I don't get this done? What is it going to cost my health if I don't keep exercising, if I don't keep eating right? What is it going to cost my finances? You ready for this? What is it going to cost my future if I don't get my finances right? You got Jesus said, count the cost. What is it going to cost my children if I don't get this marriage right? Come on, somebody. Hmm? Yes, the price might be higher than we thought it is, but here's the deal. You ready? And I'm gone. I'm out. The value is also greater than you imagined. I'm gonna say it again. It's worth the work. It's worth the fight. It's worth the tears. The price is higher, but the value is also greater than you imagine. I'm not gonna stay longer. Father, we love you. Thank you for who you are. You're an amazing God to us. And I just pray that you would help us, Lord, to see the value in finishing, see the value in continuing the race, see the value in not quitting in the middle. I pray over everyone who's tuned in right now. And Lord, I pray that you, Father, would give us what we need to finish this year strong. We thank you and we praise you. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. Hey, come hang out with us. 1:30 at our Columbia Street campus, pop-up service. Real quick worship in the word, and no more than 45 minutes to an hour. Be a really good midweek boost for you. And then tonight at 6:30, we're at 2575 Veterans Avenue. And so I invite you to take your lunch, do whatever, and come get a quick midweek boost at 1148 North Columbia Street in Covington, Louisiana. Again, that's at 1:30 p.m. Pastor, if I had known about it, it's a pop-up. We just we're popping up and doing some worship. We do pop-up everything else. We do pop-up shops, pop-up this, pop-up that. And we're gonna do a pop-up worship. Come on. So come hang out with us. And if you can't make it to at 1:30, again, we'll be in Hammond tonight at 6:30. Hit that share button. Send that link to somebody. Give us that thumbs up. That's the way you can support us. And you can also support us by going to communitych.com/give or texting the word give to 985-260-8411. And if you want to sow into my life while you're there, just go to Love Offering. You can do that. Blessings on all of you. Hope you have an amazing, amazing hump day. If it's His will, I'll see you at 1:30. And if not, tonight at 6:30.